Good morning, everybody. Keith Engle here with TGI Sports Talks. Sunday, Stream of Consciousness. Good to have you with us today. I don't know what's blowing in the wind here. What is that? Bear with me a second. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Oh, my God. All of a sudden, I got something up in the ceiling, but I don't see anything. What is that? Not that. Not me. Can anybody see that? It's annoying as hell. Bear with me, guys. Welcome, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. It's funny, there's nothing behind me. It's really weird. Oh, well. I'm not going to worry about it. Deal with it. What can I tell you? Deal with it. Oh, guys, welcome again, everybody on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Welcome to all the groups. You see our favorite groups, of course, sharing at the bottom, scrolling at the bottom. John Gonzalez at Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at the America's Pastime. We're certainly going to talk about America's Pastime off the top here. Flo and Can will be starting up their podcast again. Now the Flo's back in the States. Welcome back, Flo. Check them out. You've got, maybe you guys don't even see, you must see that. I see it on the screen when I'm looking at it. It's annoying the hell out of me. Let's Talk Sports. Ken Krause over at Golf Bud, Sports of All Sorts. Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff out of Ocean City, Maryland, including the Sports Corner on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoking Jim Frazier. I was a guest there this last Tuesday. You can go back in my feed and you can see that. That show is there for an hour. And check us out tomorrow morning. Quick announcement. Jack and Keith's weekend playbook tomorrow will be on at 6:10 a.m. It will replay at 8 o'clock the regular time. But if you want to comment live, you need to be there at 6. So Jack has some personal business that'll take him later. So he wanted to do the show early, and we'll do the show early. And we're also going to be putting some shows in the can for when I'm on vacation. Next Friday's show will be taped on Thursday night, as I've got to get the cat to the resort for her vacation. And we'll do an MLB update on Friday afternoon to wrap up the baseball season. We'll go on hiatus for a bit, and then the college football huddle will be live on Wednesday night for the first release of the college football playoff poll. Lots to talk about, guys. How about the World Series? I mean, I've had to apologize to everyone for my Debbie Downer attitude. Good morning, CA. Good to have you with us. For my Debbie Downer attitude a couple of weeks ago on the MLB update. I just wasn't excited about the series. And I realized I haven't been in a while. I was rejuvenated because I got to see some great baseball. Home runs, there was a lot of big home runs in this series. But pitching and defense still wins World Series. And you saw some great plays last night. We'll get into all that. Yamamoto is an absolute bulldog. We'll get into all that. We'll talk about the Rojas's impact last night, both on offense and defense. And Game 6, by the way, great move by Roberts putting him in Game 6, I thought. He had very little options to jumpstart that offense, and putting Pena in helped the defense, and it turns out the offense. And a tough loss for the Blue Jays. Tough way to lose. And I got a couple of comments about a few other things that happened in this series. College football yesterday, OSU and Indiana both roll. Georgia finds a way to win another squeaker. Tech and Miami both lose. The ACC is a mess. Texas and Arch Manning, yes, play a great game against Vandy. The defense faltered at the end, but they do hold on and win, and wins are all that matter. Oklahoma with an impressive win over Tennessee. Some other stuff we can talk about as well. We got the group of five is starting to get a little more muddled again. And in the NFL, trade deadline is just around the corner. McCarthy returns to for the Vikings. Time for them to find out what they have. And today's probably a do or die game for them against the Lions. Purdy's still out today. We'll talk about the Patriots game. We'll talk about all the games. We'll do the picks and we'll check out the pools. But it's your show, guys. What do you got? Let's take it. Let's take it for a ride. Hello, JB. Good to have you with us. Still pumped about the series. Good for Major League Baseball. 100% good for Major League Baseball. It was, again, they weren't the best played games, but exciting series don't have to be the best played games. I just figured out what the problem is. And I realized where this push pin came from. It was on my, excuse my reach here. It was on my calendar, which is blowing in front of my camera. Jesus. Oh, my God. Good for Major League Baseball. Not the best played games. They don't have to be, pristinely played. But there was some small ball. Jack and I know we'll get an argument about the Blue Jays moving Guerrero to bunting him over to third base last night in the bottom of the 11th. Smart move. Jeez. When nobody out, one out, you give up an out. There's 20 ways to get in from third base with one out. Yamamoto, again, was tremendous. Some big home runs. Freddie Freeman comes up big. Rojas, a great story. I will say, thank God the series didn't end on an instant replay. And that play at the plate, it was close. Not whether he beat him. The ball beat him. But if that call gets reversed and the series ends on an instant replay, this is why I don't like it. You're going to have a series end that way, and it's going to suck. And I got some thoughts about Jimenez and his nonsense last night, too, by the way. Good morning, Rick. Good to have you with us. Good win for your Bulldogs yesterday again. Florida's playing better football. Florida's a good, talented football. I'm sorry. They're a talented team. They're not a good team. But they play good football, and Georgia found a way to come back and win again. They're in the playoff probably. Well, they still got a couple tough games left, but I see no way they fall out of the playoff. And Miami yesterday was just atrocious. Atrocious. Carson Beck has thrown two of the worst interceptions I've seen in a long time this year to lose games. Rojas to Pages Smith, exactly what the Dodgers do at breaking camp, right? You can talk all you want about, they spend all the most money, blah, 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 blah. Lots of teams spend lots of money. Look at the Red Sox. Look at the Yankees. Look at the Phillies. Where are they? You need to spend it well. And it's also those pieces that you have and available at the right times. And I would say, if you want to own a team, be ready to pony up some money if you want to be competitive. And if you don't want to be competitive, don't buy a team. Now, with that said, I was rooting for the Blue Jays because of Don Mattingly. JB, Jack and I have talked about this, and I'm sure we will again tomorrow. I feel bad for Vladdy. Vladdy played great yesterday. Played great defense. The stop he had in the eighth inning saved the game then. I mean, it didn't hold up, but blow another kiss, Hoffman. Listen, Jeff Hoffman's a local boy here. Went to Shaker High School, which is just down the road here on upstate New York. I've never been a huge fan of his game. He gives up a lot of big home runs and has this year. He's a good pitcher. I don't know what the blow another kiss thing is. I don't know. I may have missed that. JB, you can certainly fill me in. But I do feel bad for Vladdy. And one thing, I feel bad for some of the Blue Jays play good baseball. And I'm not a Blue Jay fan. As a Yankee fan, and similar probably to JB's feelings, I'm not, inclined to root for the Blue Jays. But they played good baseball. They had good pitching. You saw some great stuff with the pitching. You Savage. I mean, the Dodgers threw three of their starters last night. Two of them on one day's rest. I love what Yamamoto did. And I think if the Blue Jays won, Savage would have been the MVP. So, great games. Hello, Michael, over in the UK. Hope you got to see the World Series Game 7. And I have to tell you again, as I said, a week ago Friday, I was probably way too down on this World Series. Not this World Series, the World Series in general. I haven't been excited. I can remember years, and maybe this will rejuvenate me for baseball a little bit, because I saw some old school stuff. And I'm glad I didn't see some new school stuff wreck it with that play at the plate. But you saw some fun stuff through this whole series, that 18-inning game, and then an 11-inning game, and then oh god, just Yamamoto's performance and Savage's performance and Ohtani's performance in Game 3. Just tremendous stuff, and really had me excited, by Game 3 of this series. Kirk had a horrible at bat with a man on third, fell behind in the count, hit a down right. Jack and I had, and we didn't get into it on air on the Big Football Show, but we'll get into it tomorrow morning, because Jack vehemently says he doesn't think small ball is a real thing. Small ball is pitching and defense. It's not all pitching and defense. He talked about bats win games. Well, small ball wins games. Kirk puts a ball in play somewhere in the outfield, they probably win. And giving up an out there, it was IKF. Kiner Falefa is a nice player. Do I think he's, a good bet to drive in Vladdy from second base? I do not. The bunt is the right call there, because there's 20 ways to score from third base with one out. Maybe not 20. There's quite a few. How did I lose my screen over here? What the hell happened? No, whatever. Maybe it's because of this. I don't like it when I lose one of my screens here in the middle of the show. That's no fun. Well, we'll find a way to muddle through. Lost all my notes. Lost everything. We're going to have to do this on the fly here today, guys. So let's have some fun. I think it's still there. It's just not coming up. And I can't move it because the screen won't come on. Did I hit this by mistake? Oh, anyway, whatever. We'll figure it out somehow. Yeah, I don't know. Lost my screen. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way today. Yeah, but you're 100%, bad at bat. And again, but that's part of the game. You've got to play good situational baseball. And for the most part, the Blue Jays did that. They did that. Kirk last night did not do that. You've got to find a way to get the guy in, and then we might go 18 innings again. What does 90 plus 30 pitches back-to-back by Yamamoto do to the whole 100-pitch count limit? Bring back complete games? I hope so. He pitched back-to-back complete games when you factor in the NLCS and his first start in the World Series. Dave Roberts used the eye test very well. He also was not afraid to bring in his ace without his best stuff. Yamamoto was far from, he had just thrown, what he pitched, 30 pitches? No, wait. Yeah, did he throw, 30 pitches the night before? He didn't have anything. That's what I love about this whole still trying to get my screen back on. Probably better off just pulling a plug on the thing at this point. What was I saying? Dave Roberts used the eye test. He used 3 starting pitchers last night who had pitched in the last couple of games. Glasnow, back-to-back games. Yamamoto, back-to-back games. Jack brought it up earlier. I'm glad Kershaw didn't get in there to lose this game for the Dodgers because that's all any Dodger fan would have remembered, or any baseball fan would have remembered. The other failure for Kershaw, a tremendous career for Kershaw, a great way to go out with a championship. He gets a big out, game 4, whatever it was. Well done. Hello again, CA. How are you? Commenting was unavailable for a bit on YouTube. Remember, guys, when it comes to the comments, it's not me. It's whatever platform you're on. So, anyway, good stuff. I was excited. And by the way, I got a couple more comments about. I got 2 things. Deion censored his players from the media. Deion, well, they got beat. They got blown out last night. Deion's going to retire at the end of the season for health reasons. You might see him. I didn't think Deion was headed to the NFL. I think Deion's done in college. I think Deion will head to the NFL if he coaches again. And his health may not allow it. I'm not making that up that he's looking for a way out. I think he's got some serious health issues. But they also have some serious talent issues at Colorado. They get beat by 30, I think, again yesterday. And I got some more comments. Jack floating more rule changes. Jack and his rule changes. My God. Brian had a great line that we should have we'd be stealing and not plagiarizing, but stealing intellectual content from Bill Maher if we had a segment for Jack called New Rules. But it would be fitting. I had a couple of things. You know, and I wish Danny is here. Danny, if you're here, say hello. Congratulations to Danny Fuller and to any other Dodger fans out there. I'm glad you won. Don't care what they spent. I really don't. Congratulations to them. First back-to-back winners in 25 years. Only 3, I think, since the Yankees dynasties in the 50s. Who's won back-to-back since then? The A's, the Yankees, twice. And the Dodgers, I think the Blue Jays won back-to-back in the early 90s, so maybe it's 4. The instant replay rules, I get it. We want to get the calls right. But that play at home plate, the ball beat him. It was obvious the ball beat him. The question was going to be whether his foot picked up off the bag a little bit. If in real time that's an out, it should be an out. We're going to see a World Series determined by a guy coming off the bag, just picking his foot up this much. Stuff that never would have been called out years ago and isn't really a reason to be called out now, I don't think. I mean, if you want to be a stickler, sure. But that would have been a travesty if that's how the game ended last night. That'd have been a travesty. That's number 1. And get those comments up there, guys, so that we can roll here a little bit. The other thing, Jimenez, and I want to say it was in the 8th inning. He's playing against. Who's he playing against at the time? Hold on here. I guess I'm going to have to pull this thing for a moment so I get my screen back over here. Didn't want to do it this way, but I will. Who was pitching for the Dodgers at that time? That was it might have been earlier then, because maybe that game was like maybe that play was early in the game. We had a bench clearing play, and I thought it was later in the game, but it had to be around the 4th inning now that I look at it, because which was Belsky, whatever the hell his name is, was on the mound for the Dodgers, and Jimenez is trying to get hit. On the previous pitch, there's a ball over his head. Wasn't even close to him, but he's trying to put his hand up to get hit. Then when the pitcher comes inside the next pitch, he gets hit on the hand without hardly moving, and he's freaking calling out the pitcher. Dude, that's Bush League crap. Bench is empty. You get your normal baseball, stand around and, flex the beer muscles. Oh, my God. Most Canadians are deep into hockey seasons. Let's go Stars. Listen, you can say that. Blue Jay fans are tremendous. That place was loud. They stand through the entire game. They filled the entire Raptors. I don't know what they call the facility the Raptors played in. They filled that entire place for people who couldn't get into the ballpark. Don't think Canadian fans don't love baseball. There's a great documentary on YouTube about the demise of the Montreal Expos and how it devastated the fans. Go watch it. They want baseball back, and they would have survived in Montreal with a ballpark. I think about it. What if I just put this? Maybe this thing can loose. Let's put it back in. I'm knocking everything everywhere. Why am I messing with this now? Can anybody tell me? Not going to work. Whatever. So anyway, I think Canadian fans are pretty good. JB loves instant play. Need to get it right. Really? So you'd have been okay. You'd be okay with a play ending on, I don't know. We'll use that play last night. Bang, bang play. The ball obviously beat him. And if he pulled his foot off the plate for a millisecond early, you'd have been fine with that game. Standing around thinking we're going extra inning or we're going another inning. And then all of a sudden, it would have been a wonderfully climatic moment. We'd be okay with that. And I don't think you need to get the calls right. I'm okay with the human element. Do I want the plays to get right? Yes, I want the umpires to be better. And I understand that my argument is getting harder and harder to make as the umpires seem to be getting worse and worse. You want to give me the ABS system? Fine. As long as it works fast, I could care less. But these plays or a guy who goes into second base hard and his foot comes off the bag for a millisecond and the guy just holds him, or maybe shoves him just a little bit. We're okay with games ending like that. Not me. That would have taken all the good feelings I had about this great series. If that game had ended that way, would have wrecked the whole thing. 100% would have wrecked the whole thing. That would have taken all the good one of my early interviewers was Greg Pryor, or interviewees was Greg Pryor, Kansas City Royals, played on the 85 Royals. They did a montage of a bunch of great World Series moments, and they didn't mention Game 6 in the 85 World Series. And people would never even remember the 85 World Series if it wasn't for Don Denkinger blowing a call in Game 6. Yeah, I would rather see him get the call right. But it created one of the great moments in World Series history. Otherwise, it's just a boring 4-2 victory, 4 games to 2 victory for the Cardinals. I want plays to be, it's hard. I want plays to be gotten right. Proper English. But I never want to see a game end like that. And Danny Fuller's a big proponent, I know, of replay. I got to believe if that play, because it was close where his foot was actually on the plate or not. The ball beat him. He's out. Big win for the Sooners. Tag plays are a little different, by the way. Big win for the Sooners, Raiders, and Mustangs. Agreed. All big wins, especially SMU. I knew this was going to be a tough game. Oklahoma, huge. Probably puts them back in a playoff picture if it ended today. By the way, we do get our first college football playoff poll on Tuesday. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night show. You know, it's funny. We were talking about possibly moving that show to Tuesdays, and this is the exact reason I can't. I'm glad it happened and I didn't move it because we wouldn't have that poll to talk about on Wednesdays. Good morning, Danny. Congratulations. Great win for your Dodgers. Anybody who thinks you spent too much money is their team just lost and, you know, whatever. Is it good or bad for baseball? Listen, if the rules are you can spend it, then spend it. You know? And by the way, the money they had to spend didn't really have a whole lot to do with oh God, just what do you call it? It's the name Rojas. You know, he's not making $75 million a year. Great defense too, by the way. Well, that play is a play with when he bobbles the ball at second place with the infield in, and you get that bang bang play at home plate. He bobbles that ball. He doesn't have a great grip on it, and he somehow gets enough on the ball, flat-footed, to get it to home plate. Great defense. Pitching and defense still wins games. I think I posted it at that moment in our chat yesterday, Danny. Baseball won last night. I agree. And there's going to be people, unfortunately, who think the other thing. They're going to think that, you know, baseball lost last night because of who won. Back-to-back wins. And guess what? Every sport needs a team to hate, and that's fine. If you hate the Dodgers, you hate the Dodgers. I'm not in love with them, but I'm going to give them due credit for winning back-to-back World Series when it hadn't been done in 25 years. And especially the way they did it. No quitting that team. Pitching, defense. There were some big home runs in this game, in this series. Don't get me wrong. Pitching and defense. Exciting stuff. Heroes we don't expect. Good morning, Billy. Royals had plenty of opportunities to win. In 85. Good to have you with us, William. Oh, what happened there? Royals. Did I say Royals? Oh, I brought up the Royals in 85. And in regards to the human element being part of baseball, including umpiring. It's either an out or it's not. If he's safe and called out by the umps, got it wrong. No, I wouldn't be. Because that's the way would I be upset? Yes. But I wouldn't say, oh, if we had replay. It's to replace egregious calls, not bang bang plays. I mean, we see it all the time, and it slows the game down. And I think is one of the reasons it's hard to watch baseball a lot of times now. Not these games. And if you're going to tell me that you think that would have been a wonderful way for that series to end for the Blue Jays fans, okay, they'd be excited. They won. They scored the winning run, and we sat around for 10 minutes to find out if they won or not. That's what I have a problem with. That scenario. I'm okay. Get the call right. You can find a way to do it in real time and not take 10 minutes to do it. Yeah, listen, I'm always going to be on the wrong side of this argument, and I'm fine with that. Would I have been upset I lost the game? Yeah. First of all, the ball beat him. If he was safe and called out because the ball got it, I didn't say if the ball beat him. Oh, got it wrong. I'm sorry. Hold on. I did say the ball beat him. Hold on. Called out because, let me say, got it wrong. The ball beat him. If he was safe and called out because the umps got it wrong. No, I'm telling you that if his foot came a millimeter off the plate at some point, and it came back down, it was in doubt. I had, for the entire length that I replay, I had in my head they're going to reverse this. It was close, but it wasn't incontroversial. Did I say that right? I'll leave it at this, JB. It's going to suck when somebody wins or loses that way. When a series ends, game 7, game 4, I don't care. When a series or a Super Bowl ends on one of these plays, it's going to suck. Maybe not so much in football, but baseball, it sucks. Did you wear what Rick sent you for? I don't think Rick sent it, but good stuff. Hello, Jeremy. How are you, my friend? Jeremy up in Detroit. Remember last season I called the Lions defense a legion of whom? The NFL Network this morning just used a nickname for the Lions defense this morning. Did you use it on your show, Jeremy? If you did, you should be able to sue them for intellectual property theft. My lawyer was still practicing. We'd sue them for everything they got. The other billionaires that didn't make it don't deserve it. Nope, the 4 pitchers. I think you mean none of the 4 pitchers that pitched was close to all the money. What? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying at the last time. But I don't have a problem. I never have with teams spending money to win. If that's what it is, they want to put a salary cap in, I'm okay with that too. Whatever the rules are and you play within them. Bigger problem in baseball is not the team spending money, it's the teams not spending money. And until people get that, all they're going to do is focus on who won, and they're going to think it's only because of why or money. Money helps you win, 100%. I'm not arguing that. Money helps you win. You still have to spend it right. You still have to utilize the people that you spent the money on correctly. And I'm going to tell you something, Danny. I know that you haven't always been the biggest Dave Roberts fan, and I've talked to a bunch of people. Well, one of them is your buddy Mancini, so I shouldn't really take that with much more than a grain of salt. But I've heard a lot of LA people down on Roberts. If you don't think he did a great job managing this series, I think he did a tremendous job. Putting in Rojas in game 6, again, we talked about it on the MLB Update Friday. I thought he had very few lineup moves he could make other than adjusting, the lineup, the order of the lineup. And Rojas was one of the few moves he could make, and I thought he made the right one. And it turned out, dumb luck is, luck is a residue of good design. Headless Horseman making fantasy football moves during the show. Who's the Headless Horseman? I don't know off the top of my head. I have been so bad. Hello, Michael. How are you? Catch out Michael Dighton Edwards' latest article. Very, very good. As always, a great read. Michael does some great stuff. Had some poignant things to say during the game last night at the end of the game, too, in our chat. Good to have you with us, and listen to the show is my pleasure. What was I saying before that? I'm having trouble getting into fantasy sports. I'm telling you, I don't know why. I'm not enjoying it anymore. As I get older, I just want to watch games. I don't want to watch lineups. I'm losing my edge. So maybe it's because my teams suck. And I'm retired. I should have all kinds of time to spend, and I don't want to spend my time, scouring for third string running backs. The way game 7 went, set the stage for 2026 to me. The Blue Jays will be hard pressed they're going to be different. They're going to be hard pressed to win in 2026. I agree with that opinion. That said, no losers last night, 100%, except billionaire owners that won't spend money. That's a great point. And listen, if you have money, these aren't toys for these guys anymore, right? They're in it to make money. And they've got money, and to make money, you have to spend money. That's how they got to be billionaires in the first place. But they don't want to spend it on their baseball teams and get out of the league and sell to somebody who will. I don't care if you own the Rockies. I don't care if you own the Royals. I don't care. Name any team you want. If you don't want to spend money to what the league, and there needs to be a minimum, by the way. If you don't want to compete, then get out. But don't come in, don't compete, and then bitch and moan about the people that do spend money. You know, spending all that money hasn't helped the Yankees since 2009. Hasn't helped the Red Sox in recent years. Hasn't helped the Phillies win championships. Give the Dodgers some credit. They spent the money well. Their manager handled those resources that he was given brilliantly. Good stuff. And by the way, Blue Jays, to your point about 2026, the Blue Jays will be hard pressed. Their pitching staff, they got Yasevich, but, you know, again, remember, he started a year in A-ball. We don't know how he's going to pitch over a full season. Hoffman is not that shutdown closer that you really want. Bichette might have played his last game as a Blue Jay. Scherzer most definitely did. He's probably going to be in, I would guess he'll be in San Francisco as he was recruited by Tony Vitello. When Vitello was at, I want to say Michigan. I can't remember where Scherzer went to college, but he was recruited by Vitello, and they've had a very close relationship over the years. So I think he may end up there. But this team's going to look a lot different. Vlad has matured into a really good leader and a fine ball player. Really good defensive player. He lost a bunch of weight a few years ago. God bless him. I thought was afraid he'd eat himself out of the league for a while. And he's turned himself into a really good ball player and a leader. He had a great series. It's early. My grammar's still celebrating from last night. Danny posted about 6 voice messages on the chat like yesterday or last night. Sorry, Danny, I missed some of those. I had gone to bed. Money helps you stay on top year after year, not just a one-year wonder. Agreed. Listen, money helps. Nobody's going to argue that money doesn't help you. But all these teams, all these owners have money. And if they don't, they shouldn't be in the game. It's big business now. Yeah, I'm in too many. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. It's been the same way for me. It's waned over the years, right? It was a lot of fun. I've done it for since 1987. So what is that? 38 years. Tired. I get no joy from it. You know, it seems like a chore every Sunday. Even in the pick'em freaking leagues, it's just hard. Forget Thursday nights. Work with Jack on a rule change about spending money. Jack probably wouldn't be for that one. He'd probably be more for throttling it. Our fantasy football league is fantastic at keeping up with defensive player performance as well as offense, which gets more attention. It's a good league. I'm not saying, listen, it's nothing against anybody that runs leagues are still excited. And again, it could be just me and this year. And again, my fall has been much different than it's been in the past. And, you know, I'm busy out. I'm not just sitting here. I'm working. And when I'm working, I can pay, believe it or not, when I'm working, I can pay more attention to stuff. I'd be sitting at my desk in front of a computer all day. I don't do that now. You know, I go play golf and forget to get my picks in for Thursday night football. I focus on these shows. I got too many irons in the fire. Nothing against it. I just, whatever. Dodgers still have 3 pitchers on the AL. Something has to give. Oh, look at. There's going to be massive changes on both these teams, probably. But the Dodgers are likely better next year. You're going to have a full year of Ohtani at full speed pitching. Yamamoto has really come into his own. I am so impressed with his postseason performance. I can't tell you. He's my new favorite pitcher in baseball. Watching him pitch last night without anything close to his best stuff and just figuring out a way to get it done. So impressive to me. So much fun. Am I the only guy, by the way, that was outraged at Jimenez last night? I didn't see much outrage on social media. I didn't hear, my guys from this show say much. I brought it up this morning, I think, on the Big Football Show. Well, maybe I brought it up before we went on the air, but this guy, what is this guy freaking doing? He's trying to get himself hit. Then when he gets hit, he's freaking calling out the pitcher. Somebody should have drove his ass into the ground. I would have hit him again the next time up. Hello, Luther. See Luther out there. Steve Stuhlmaker, good to see you, buddy. $16 teams is too many for fantasy football. God forbid. It's not about whether, it's not about winning or losing, quite frankly. It's not about, personally, when I'm excited, I want deep leagues like that. It's got nothing to do, at least this is just for me, Rick, not again. For me, it's just my enthusiasm. I have enthusiasm for a lot of different things now. I have time to do things now that I couldn't do before. And it takes away from other things like this that are easy to do when you're kind of, stuck at the house and, stuck behind a desk for 12 hours a day. Not doing that anymore. I don't think to go back and make moves. I don't think to go to the waiver wires. I'm busy doing things I enjoy, and that's suffering. And I don't like to do anything poorly. I'm ultra competitive. Clemson with a bad loss yesterday. I mean, listen, Duke's a good football team. Manny Diaz has done a good job there. But Dabo melted down on the sideline at his defense. I'm pretty sure I'm starting to think there's going to be another big opening, possibly at Clemson, because I think Dabo may step away. I don't think he's going to get fired. Don't get me wrong. I think Dabo is showing the signs of a coach who needs a change. That was an ugly performance by Clemson. First bet, yes. And bench clearing, right? You stand around and look at each other and yell things at each other. Nobody fights good in baseball. Every good fight I've seen in baseball, I think, involved Greg Nettles. With the Yankees and Red Sox, and when he was with the Padres, it was a great dust-up with the Braves. Go Google that. Those are baseball fights. But they shouldn't have been clearing. They shouldn't even have had a bench clearing thing. Jimenez is out there holding his hands out like, what the F are you doing? When he said he's there trying to get himself hit. Guy wasn't throwing at him. I would have after the first one. I'd have drilled him right square behind the freaking shoulder blades. I wouldn't have messed around hitting him in the hand. You want to get hit? Here you go. I'll hit you. Bush League crap. Backs to something. Oh, I see. Right? Freaking idiot. You look at it. I'm okay. You want to get on base any way you want. You got to make it a little less obvious than that. And then you can't get pissed off when the guy hits you. Which, by the way, wasn't that bad a pitch. I'd have made sure he got hit. Fantasy Sports is Michael Tobby keeps on saying wouldn't have met you without fantasy. Well, that's a good point. There are relationships that are built through anything you do like that. And I'll probably change my tune. Part of this is probably the fact that I've had a bad year, all of them. Partly due to my inattentiveness. It's rarely one of the top 5 things I'm thinking about during the course of the day. I'm thinking about getting out on the golf course. I'm thinking about, should I go see my granddaughter? I'm thinking about anything. It's really weird. I don't want to belabor that point. That's a tough beat right there. McCarthy back today, by the way. Talk about real football. Let's get back to real football because fantasy's and that's another reason I play fantasy sports for 38 years. I rarely have talked about. I find nothing against you guys. When I get together with people, the last thing I want to talk about is fantasy sports. I hate talking. I always loved playing them, but I hated talking about them. But anyway, McCarthy back this week in real football, and the Vikings maybe on the precipice of their season being over. But they need to play, and they don't have anybody else. Wentz is out for the year. I don't even know, Rick, who's the backup quarterback there now. Did they bring in Rippon? I'm not sure who they brought in, or who their taxi squad guy was, or who the backup was for Wentz, quite frankly, the last couple of weeks. But it's time to find out what McCarthy has or doesn't have. I still think the kid can play. Remember, we make snap judgments on everybody, right? Arch Manning sucks. Arch Manning is the worst. Arch Manning, some guy commented on the Big Football Show today. I hope that the Vikings keep stinking and then they take Arch Manning in the draft. Well, first of all, Arch Manning's not coming out in the draft next year. Second of all, Arch Manning, we don't know is going to be bad or good. But we keep harping on. We love to do this. I don't know why. I've fallen victim to it myself. We want guys to fail. Why? Arch Manning played a great football game yesterday. He's progressed through this season pretty much like you would expect any young quarterback with about 80 snaps in his history to progress. And he's played better than a lot of seasoned quarterbacks. I've talked about this week after week. A lot of seasoned quarterbacks have sucked this year. Klubnik, Alar, who's out for the year now, Sellers, John Batir had not been playing well, played well yesterday. I would argue Arch Manning has been no worse than Carson Beck. And now he's playing better football. But we'll find reasons to say no. Can't we just let it play out? J.J. McCarthy's got 2.5 games. Am I right? Or I'm close. 2.5 games of experience in the NFL under his belt. But we've already decided he sucks. Seriously, who had the worst loss in college football yesterday? Miami and Georgia Tech both had horrible losses. Syracuse had a tough loss. Vanderbilt's killed. That's a tough loss because they lost. Their playoff chances are pretty much nil right now. Miami's are on life support, almost nil. Who else? Ole Miss had a nice win over South Carolina. Neil, I see you got a comment there. I would say Miami and Georgia Tech both were awful. Vanderbilt's was awful. Tennessee's was awful. They're going to look back at this season and look at 2 home losses, one to Georgia, one to Oklahoma, winnable games that they gave away. Cincinnati had a bad loss, but again, on the road at Utah, good football team. Nebraska's got a bad loss too to USC at home. SC's awful, no all line, but seeing Clemson lose takes away some sting. You guys still play this year, right? Beamer stays. I know we talked about this every week, right? I think Beamer's going to stay. He doesn't want to go to Virginia Tech. I don't think he wants to be where his father built his legacy and have to hear about that. I mean, no offense, South Carolina. Not that Virginia Tech has a great legacy during those Beamer years, though, right? They had a certain identity, and fans there loved them. At South Carolina, you don't have that much to. He won't have that much to live up to. I mean, you'll get fired if you don't win eventually, like everybody. But you go first. Where do I go? There's our boy Flo. I heard you were back. Welcome back. When are you guys back on, Flo? You and Ken gonna be back doing your show full time? And again, thank you so much for your service. I know that I guess I'm not going to share any information. I know you put some stuff on Facebook of where you were while you were gone. I know you were performing a very important job, and we thank you for your service and keeping this country safe and our our peacekeeping efforts around the world. Keith, I enjoyed that though, making my fantasy team better. I do too, but again, the problem is I haven't spent enough time. I don't find myself motivated to spend time doing it. I've always been like that. I found myself playing more Stratomatic than I do fantasy sports. ACC standings: Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, all at 4-1. Miami with 2 losses, and really no path to the championship game without some because a lot of these teams don't even play each other. The unbalanced schedules in colleges cause a lot of log jams at 1 losses and no losses, and it makes it hard to catch some of the teams in front of you because you don't play them. And you don't play common opponents. We talked today for a little bit on the big football show about whether, Ohio State or Indiana is better. My sense would be Ohio State. Indiana's a lot better this year than the team that lost handily to Ohio State last year, but this year I can't compare them until they play each other again because there's not a lot of common opponents. When you had balanced schedules, everybody played all the same teams, especially when you had divisions or whatnot. You'd have a little bit of a better feel for these conversations, but I don't know which team's better. My hunch says Ohio State. They're right now on a collision course to be undefeated in the Big Ten championship game. I find it hard to believe either one of them is going to lose. If Ohio State loses to this Michigan team, Ryan Day, I don't know. Bo Nix was horrible first third of his rookie season. This is a great call, Michael. This is, in essence, McCarthy's rookie season. He's played 2 games. Yes, A. Manning, he was buried, but figuring it out. Got to give young quarterbacks a chance. I agree 100%. I'm not giving up on Caleb Williams. How many quarterbacks became much, much better after their second, third, even fourth season? Some guys are great out of the gate, the great ones. You could find a lot of cases of guys who became good quarterbacks, later in their career once they got it together. Peyton Manning was terrible in his rookie year. Terrible. 18 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. right? Cincinnati never got off the plane. No, that was pretty pathetic effort there. They played some great football. Utah just shut them down from the get-go pretty much. Utah's played, they've lost to two pretty good football teams at home, which is a rarity for them. It's a really good home field environment for them. They've lost to Texas Tech and BYU at home. Utah's still in the hunt in that Big 12. But again, it's hard to decipher the schedule and who plays who. It's hard to get a feel. I'm excited to see this first college football poll come out, college football playoff poll come out on Tuesday night, and we'll decipher that on Wednesday. It's going to be interesting to see how closely it follows the AP poll that comes out today. You're going to see Miami take a precipitous drop, Georgia Tech take a precipitous drop. Notre Dame is in the playoff if we start today, FYI. Notre Dame will be back in the top 10 this week. Book it. Thank you, Danny. Worst loss, I agree, with Georgia Tech. A lot of bad losses, a lot of bad performances. It's been that kind of year. I mean, where else? Navy, if you want to talk about bad losses, right? Navy undefeated, played a weak schedule. North Texas is really good. North Texas has got themselves in that conversation now in the group of five. They got a prolific offense. To me right now, it's Memphis, North Texas. Tulane took themselves out the other night. South Florida probably on the peripheral. Watch out for James Madison coming up the outside. They had a big win, and they know they need some style points because they need. It's going to be very interesting for me to see where, again, everybody's going to be concentrated at the top 12. You will not see, remember, I don't think. You're going to see a top 12 tomorrow, but you're not going to see necessarily 12 teams that would be in because you got to put one of these group of 5 teams in the 12-team field. I don't think they're going to rank them that way. We'll see how they do it. I know they made some changes this year. I don't remember how that's affected. We'll find out on Tuesday night. But where Memphis, where North Texas, where James Madison sit in this poll is going to be very interesting to see from the group of 5 perspective. Listen, you guys may or may not be in the same boat I am. That is one of the things that really, and you can tell when I talk about it, I get excited. I get excited on the college football show. Those are teams I like to see who's going to have that shot, who's going to have that chance to be Cinderella. James Franklin, you mean? That's probably a good spot for him. You're not going to be expected to win national championships. You compete for a playoff spot every 5 years. They'll probably be happy. Winning 9 or 10 games, they'll be happy. I still think Stanford is the best spot for James Franklin. And I'm assuming that's who you mean. There could be a Dennis Franklin I'm not aware of. I don't see James Franklin going to LSU or Florida where he gets his name mentioned. Situations are no different than Penn State. I don't think they're going to want a James Franklin who's shown he can do what they've already done in those places. Dan Mullen was winning 9 or 10 games a year. Wasn't making a playoff. The Kelly situation in LSU is a different one. He was never a good fit there. And the Louisiana governor needs to shut up. Taxpayers aren't paying off Brian Kelly. Ridiculous. And he gets to go say, no, they fired the AD since then. He's got a great track record, right? I mean, he did hire some good coaches at LSU. Just the most important one he whiffed on after whiffing on Jimbo Fisher. I mean, this guy's legacy is he's got his last two head football coaches he hired are getting paid $125 million not to coach. Beamer needs to stay. Shula needs to go. I think that's what we talked about last week. Welcome home, Flo. Absolutely. Thank you to all that serve, for sure. Check out Flo and Can's Bottom Line Sports podcast, too. And Flo, please give us some information when you're coming back, days and times and whatnot. And I will make a concerted effort to remember to go share the show to my pages. Flo's been a good supporter of this show, and we'll collaborate a little bit. Notre Dame won't lose the Navy. Navy looked really bad yesterday. They did. They're not. Listen, for Navy to beat teams that are better than them, and it was an interesting contrast of styles yesterday with Navy and North Texas. But they need to get out ahead of you, and they need to be able to just pound that ball, run the clock. And they get behind against teams like North Texas, and they will against Notre Dame. They will not be able to do that. So Navy's taking themselves out of the playoff run. Still been a good year for Navy, though, right? I mean, again, it's funny. The other night we were talking about his great historical programs. I had Army and Navy in the top 10, but quite frankly, neither one of them has been competitive as far as competing for national championships in 6 decades. But in the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they were, and even the early 60s, they were competing for national championships. So historically, they're great programs. Now they can't compete in this environment. What else we got here to talk about today? We haven't gotten into the NFL. We'll go through. Since we got a little break in the comments, you guys can put your comments up. Let's go to the pigskin. Let's review yesterday's NFL or college football stuff, and then I'll go to the the NFL. I'm not expecting a lot of big scores here, but let's find out, shall we? Yeah, as I thought. The leader was J-Train with 6 wins yesterday. 5 of us had, not including me, 5 people had 5 wins. And the rest of us had 4. Tough week. Neil still maintains a 4-game lead over Allen. 60 wins to 56. Rick has moved into 3rd at 55. J-Train falls to 54. Danny's at 53. And then the rest of us are behind with 51 and whatnot. Going to be hard to catch up now. I mean, with 10 games each week, not easy to do. Let's take a look at the professional football picks and the standings of such. Right now, anything stand out from last week? We had a bunch of guys. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I missed Thursday night's game. Speaking of what, so I start behind the 8 ball this week. I would have had Baltimore. I just didn't make a pick. Last week, Michael had 11 wins. Good job. And Brick and the Sun God with 10 each. Good job. For the season, Danny's leading with 84. Rick is just behind him at 82. The Sun God with 79. Also, Kenny with 79. Michael 78. We got our generic fan at 77. Bo, it was 76. I've got 75. Not out of it, but close enough. Boston Paul just behind me at 74. And then J-Train with 73. The Jurors Blitz, who looks like she didn't miss any games. And Drew brings up the rear at 68. Here's my picks for this week. We missed, as we said, a winner on Thursday night, so we lose that one. I'll take the Bears and everybody's favorite quarterback, NFL quarterback, to hate on, and Caleb Williams. I'm kind of lost some of my enthusiasm for him, but again, young quarterback, right? Got a season and a half under his belt. I'm not writing them off, guys. But I will take the Bears on the road today. The Lions I like a lot. The Vikings are doing what they need to do and play McCarthy again. I don't even know who the backup is yet. I was hoping Rick would give me some information. I'll have to check the depth chart. But McCarthy needs to play. They need to find out what they have or don't have. And I'm not even sure you can determine that. And you're going to see the same thing in the New Orleans game today. They're playing Shuck, who needs to play. In Green Bay, the Panthers will come into Green Bay to play the Packers. Look, the Panthers are getting better. I do think this team can win 8 games, but when they play teams that are better than them, they're going to get beat. And in some cases, they're going to get beat handily. I think this will be handily. So I think they will be handled handily. It's repetitive by the Packers today in Lambeau. We'll take the Chargers on the road against Tennessee. No reason to think Tennessee is going to do anything better. Cam Ward is another example. I don't know that Cam Ward can or can't play in this league. Not going to know 8 games into his rookie season with this horrible team that plays around him and the inadequate coaching he's had up until this point. The Patriots with a tricky spot against the Falcons, getting healthy. I mean, London's back, Penix is back, Mooney's back. A bunch of guys are back on this team that got blown out last week and kicked me out of a $120,000 survivor pool. Patriots, I don't think this team lets down. I think they need to win today and get that home field established. Again, they're only 2-2, I think, at home this year. Time to start reasserting that home field dominance. I don't see a letdown coming. I think the way Mike Vrabel coaches, you're less susceptible to letdowns than maybe the way some other guys might handle their teams. They had some discipline problems the last couple of weeks. Barmore sat out the whole first half last week, but again, it's not something that gets belabored and beat to death. They react to it, they make their decisions, and they move on. 49ers go to the Giants today. Mac Jones will start. Purdy is questionable, could play, I guess, but Mac Jones is the choice to be the starter again against the Giants. I would have taken the Giants here, and I like Jackson Dart a lot. That Giants defense has been very disappointing. And now Dart's serious lack of weapons with Scatterboo gone and Neighbors already gone. This is going to start he's going to start to struggle, I'm afraid. The Colts with the 2 leading MVP candidates in my mind and Daniel Jones and Taylor playing some great football, going to the Steelers, the inconsistent Steelers, who now, by the way, the Ravens the other night, Lamar played great. He's back in the offense, 4 touchdowns. Are the Ravens back? The Ravens have the best chance to win the Central by computer rankings than any one of these teams. And the Steelers, as I've said for a long time, do not seem to have any identity. They don't know whether they're a running team. They don't know if they're a passing team. Their defense is not Steeler-like. I see no reason the Colts won't come in here and continue to win and get their 8th win out of 9 games. The Broncos, Bo Nix, as Paul had pointed out before, has picked it up a lot here the last month. The Broncos have played much defense. Their defense, they've played much better, and their defense has picked it up. I thought they were probably one of the best, if not the best defense in the league. They'll play another good defense this week in Houston, at Houston, playing better, up to 3-4. Big game for the Texans, I would say. I think Denver goes into Houston and wins this game. Jaguars fading to 4-3 after a strong start. They'll go to the Raiders, who have been a big disappointment. Ashton Giante, again, put in a difficult situation. He's going to take the brunt of this. Geno Smith will take the brunt of this. But this has been a mess under Pete Carroll, and maybe not the best spot for him to have return to the NFL. I'll take the Vegas Raiders at home, though, in this game. The Rams, this should be easy. Shuck gets a start over Rattler, who hadn't played badly, but you're at the point in the season at 1-7. You got to find out what you got in the guy you took in the second round, and get ready to start over if he isn't your guy. But I can't see any way, any circumstance where the Saints team goes into Los Angeles and beats a good Rams team. Rams win easy. The game of the week, Kansas City goes to Buffalo. The Chiefs, you can knock the Chiefs all you want. They're back. And you can say, the referees are back with them. No, they're getting healthy. They have the best coach in the league. They have the best quarterback in the league who knows how to win games. Maybe his numbers won't be what other guys are, but the guy knows how to win football games. I think this team still wins the AFC West. I think they will probably find a way to get to the AFC Championship game, depending on matchups in the playoffs, obviously. But this team has got their weapons pretty much back in order. They got the best coach in the league, as I said, and I think Kansas City's back. Buffalo, a lot of people down on Buffalo. They only won by 37 last week. I think these two teams will see each other again in the playoffs. Maybe the AFC Championship game. Who knows? With all that said, I'm going to take Buffalo at home to win this game. They only lose to Kansas City at home when it's the playoffs. And the team formerly known as the Redskins has the hot Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold playing good football coming in on Monday night. It's pretty much a must-win for the team formerly known as the Redskins. McLaren's still out. Daniels doesn't have a lot of weapons. The running game has not been good. The defense has taken a step back this year. Just a tough, and sometimes you get this. I saw with the Patriots in 93, let's say, 93 or 4. 94, 5, I guess. 93, they went to the playoffs. They lost to the Browns. 95, they were terrible. Drew Bledsoe got banged up. The team was terrible. I think they went 6-10, I want to say. Maybe even 5-11. The next year, they went to the Super Bowl. Lost, but they went to the Super Bowl. So sometimes these teams take a step back. That's a Sunday night game, by the way. And they got Arizona going to the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett, who I like, just don't necessarily like as an NFL quarterback, will be starting again for the Cardinals. The Cowboys win this game and get to 500 in my mind. So there you go. There you have my picks. And we can talk about whatever you have put up since I left. Oh, crap. Where did I leave off? We saw that, right? Huge AFC game for the Texans, 100%. I mean, the Texans are in a spot where they can't afford to lose. It's unlikely they're going to chase down the Colts. They're 3 games behind them. I don't see the Colts collapsing. So the Texans have got to chase a wild card. They're going to be, those teams will get bundled up in it for that wild card. But the Texans have got to start getting some consistent performances. They had a nice win last week. They played well. I think they won a couple in a row, and I think they'll be fine. And well, somehow I missed that comment, I think. Manning, rookie year, 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. That was close. I had the interceptions right. Is that a great year, though? I mean, I watched a lot of those years, and Peyton Manning looked lost a lot of the time, and it was a bad football team, right? But more is expected out of guys sooner today. Not everybody was starting in their rookie years like Peyton Manning was back in the day. He would sit. And some guys don't get it together late in their career. Jim Plunkett, great example of that. I was waiting on Keith's pick so I could change my NFL picks. You're good. The bets are all I care about. 6 for 6 the last 2 weeks in the bets. That's all I care about. I don't know who my bets are this week, though. See if I got see if we got an email with. No, not yet. Yeah, so I don't know who my bets are going to be yet today. If I look again at these, I forget the lines. But I can get them. Hold on. Let's look real quick. And I'm going to give you, I don't know that these will be my final picks, but, I never post you guys. I do like the Patriots today. I think they're minus 4.5. So I like the Patriots. I might like the Bills at home tonight, depending on their injury situation. I might like Denver. That's a lot of points on the road. Green Bay 13.5, too many. Detroit could be a bet today at minus 9.5. Actually, Dallas, I think I'm going to bet on Monday night. So I think I got 4 picks today because I had an extra game get pushed. So, yeah, I like the Patriots a lot for sure. I like Dallas a lot this week. I could bet the Colts, although Aaron Rodgers has screwed me more than once. Yeah, so I'm leaning towards Detroit, New England, the Bills, and Dallas at the moment. Ravens will absolutely win the Central. I agree. Pittsburgh's first losing season under Tomlin this year, and Browns and Bengals both sub 500. I can see that. Ravens looked great the other night. I realized it was the Dolphins. And by the way, the Dolphins fired their GM Chris Greer, and have said McDaniel is safe for the rest of the year. What an atrocious performance Thursday night. This team is in such disarray. Why did it take? There's the picks now. There's the lines. Patriots 5.5. Lions only 8.5 in the shoebox. That's going to be a bet. Texans 2.5 or 1.5. Sorry. Maybe the 49ers. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Bears, I think he's got the wrong home team here. Cowboys 3. We'll see. What's this here? Sorry, Danny. Ravens will do what the Blue Jays did and come to the back of the pack and win the division. Good call. Possibility that 5 SEC teams make it to the playoff. Very possible. Depending on how other things fall. The ACC and the Big 12 will play a lot into that. It's looking like the Big 10 might only get 2. I mean, who's the third team going to be in the Big 10? So I could see 5, maybe even 6 teams coming out of the SEC. So if we say Big 12 2, ACC 1, Big 12 2, Notre Dame, group of 5, that would leave 5 picks for the SEC if it breaks down that way. And we'll dive into this. We'll dive into some of the possibilities after that first polls released Tuesday night. Ravens dangerous in the playoffs. Listen, here's the thing. We talked about this, I think, on the Jack and Keith show. the weekend playbook, which tomorrow morning, by the way, will be on at 6:10 a.m. And we will replay it in the 8 o'clock hour as well. But if you want to comment live, and you can feel free to comment on any of the shows that are taped beforehand while I'm on vacation, even, or even tomorrow morning show, and I'll comment back if you call me out. We talked about Lamar Jackson, why he doesn't get recognition, full recognition they think he might deserve. To me, you got to win in the playoffs eventually. He's a great regular season quarterback. He had one of the greatest regular seasons a quarterback's ever had last year. But you can't flame out in the playoffs year after year after year. I mean, point out one big performance he's had in the playoffs. He's a great player. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day. Got to win eventually. You got to show up. The Faderettes are they are pathetic. Let's talk about a quarterback change there, but look at Geno Smith was in a good situation in Seattle, and it didn't work out elsewhere. I wasn't sure about Sam Darnold. He left a perfect situation for him. Geno left a perfect situation for him. I don't know if these quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks, running backs, skill position players, you got to think about the system and where you're leaving to where you're going to. Sam Darnold has made it work nearly as well as he did in Minnesota last year. Geno Smith is not. Baker Mayfield ended up in a better situation in Tampa. Baker Mayfield's an MVP candidate this year, too. Who are they? And that's a good thing for us to talk about. We got about, 20 minutes left. Who are your favorites for the MVP? Mine are Jones and Taylor, 1 and 2. Baker Mayfield, probably 3. Mahomes, as much as you hate it, I'm sorry, Mahomes will end up in the conversation. Because when you win, that's what happens. Who else? And you know what? If the Ravens go on a run, say run the table, it's doubtful. Lamar puts himself in the hunt, even with all those games missed. Most valuable doesn't mean best. Doesn't mean best numbers. Doesn't mean the best player in the league. It means the guy most valuable to his team. Please remember that when we have these discussions. I was wrong about Mahomes. I thought he was on the decline after last season. He's got a lot of miles. He's 30 years old. I can't believe he's 30 years old. I can't believe I'm 65 years old. So there you go. Hello, Matt. How are you, my friend? Sorry, you're not not a World Series win for you, even though you're an Orange County resident. Cowboys the best cover of the day. I have the Ravens on my 5 2-team pars today. Nice backdrop, except for the Pats. I decided to go with. You're going to see a lot of Patriots and a lot of Yankees back there. I got some other stuff that never made it to this wall. This wall's been hidden behind me the whole time I've done the show. I put the green screen up, and I decided I've been having a lot of lighting issues and whatnot with the green screen lately. I explained this a couple times now on shows, and I think I've decided to go with the natural background and anything that makes me look better. I was not crazy about my own personal lighting on the other with the green screen. It was getting very tough. And this also makes it more wide open for me, man. I'm not, crunched into the green screen and stuff. So anyway, this is what we're going to go with, I think. I like it a lot. Danny loves the Pats today. Sweet. Denver is my stay away from game. I don't like it either. I do not like that game. Sorry, Rick Sherlock. I like the Lions as well. Oregon. Oh, Oregon. Yes. I did forget about Oregon. Thank you. That's the third team. I thought there was somebody in the Big Ten. Again, that could mean 4 teams from the SEC or 1 team from the ACC and 1 team from the Big 12. Right now, I think the Big 12 gets 2 teams. Let's do this again. Big 12, 2 teams. ACC 1. Notre Dame. Group of 5. That's 5. Where the hell was I? Big 10, 3. That's 8. At least 4 spots for the SEC. So I guess the only way for them to get 5 is if the Big 12 gets 1. Got to remember these numbers are important. So does a 3-loss SEC team get in before a 2-loss Big 12 team? Probably depends on who that team is. Yeah, Oregon from the Big 10. Michigan's not getting in. If they beat Michigan State, I don't think they're getting in, Michael. I'm sorry, Michigan State. If they beat Ohio State, they're not getting in. I mean, they barely got by Purdue this week. Let me just look quickly at I don't think they have a path to the I don't believe they have a path to the championship game, do they? Well, they're sitting at 5-1. So if they beat, maybe I got to revise that. Now, if they go to here's the big question mark. If they win out and beat, all right, I'll take my argument back a little bit. If they beat Ohio State, they're in play. They shouldn't lose a Northwestern. They shouldn't lose a Maryland. They're going to get killed by Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. So you're going to have a 3-loss Michigan team against a 3-loss SEC team. Let's just say it's Texas. Well, Texas lost to Ohio State, so you have a barometer there. Who else here? Sorry, I'm working off my smaller screen. I just lost. There's my mouse. I mean, who else could have 3 losses here? Did they beat Oklahoma? If they beat Oklahoma, no, they lost. So if they end up with 3 losses and Oklahoma ends up with 2, they're going to get in. They're going to have trouble beating out. I think they're going to have trouble getting a 4th team in out of the Big Ten. But their argument's going to be better than what I thought it was at first glance, Michael. I'll give you that. Yeah, I know you live at 310. We'll replay the show at 8 a.m. Maybe I'll replay it. And I'll also sit in live on the show, watch it live. I don't know if I can do it. I think I can set it up to do that. I'll play the show, right? And sit on the side and comment with you guys. Gibbs, if Lions win out. That's a good one. My lady's a Dodger fan, so all is good. Happy wife, happy life. Well, better than the green screen. Good call. Thank you. Got to get one of my favorite ones gets covered up. It's got all that light from some of the lights here. I might have to rearrange the lighting a little bit. I'm enjoying this more open look. Does the cat like the new look of the wall versus the green screen? The cat is here. Doesn't really give a crap about anything, quite frankly. I got to play this for you guys. It'd be better if I could play it on I played it for my wife the other day. It's hilarious. If you have a cat, you'll understand. I can't believe I'm going to play this. I'm not a cat video person, okay? But this came up and really caught my eye. It's very funny. Let me see. Hold on. All right.
Dear Diary, my food dish is now only half full. It is obvious that I will soon starve to death. I have repeatedly tried to draw attention to my predicament with the authorities, but they are clearly either stupid, deaf, or just cruel. This may be my last entry. Dear Diary. Dear Diary.
That is my cat to a T, by the way. If the Chargers O-line holds up, they'll be able to take the pressure off. Yes. Herbert. Listen, the Chargers are a good football team. They've got to be more consistent, though. We'll try to come back this coming week. Sweet. Do me a favor. Send me a note so I can promote the show for you guys if you'd like. Be happy to do that. Keith, that breakdown was the best yet for top 12 teams. Best I can do. It's funny. You just got to figure out all the math. You can't. It's hard to just go because you got to give the picks where the picks go, right? Notre Dame's going to get a pick. If they lose, well, then there's another place for a fifth SEC team. But the only way to get 5 is if only 3 go from the Big Ten, 1 from the ACC and the Big 12, unless Notre Dame goes out. So, thank you, Danny. Sometimes logic is my forte. We'll try to come back this coming weekend, Tuesday evening and Sunday surge. Sweet. But Flo and Ken do some good. Is it only you and Ken are going to be on alone going forward? Flo said the Cowboys defense can move up to mediocre defense. Dak, a mediocre defense. Dak will be the MVP conversation. That's a good call. Dak's played some great football. There's no doubt about that. But again, you're going to have to be better than, 500. And they do have a chance to be 500 because they have a tie. But that's a good call. My dear diary. Oh my God. I found a bunch of those. That was one of my favorites though. My food bowl is half full and I can only assume I'm about to die. Oh, they're too funny. And this one, well, she's 17 years old, so my animals have lived a long time, as I said. Last dog, I haven't had a dog since I was 40, so 25 years, but I had him for 19 years. 20 to 40, man. A lot of stuff happens in your life, and good and bad, and he was the one constant in my life for those 20 years. I miss him terribly. Think about him every day. 25 years later, I think about this guy. Can't see him too good. Every day. He was 19 when I had to put him down. He was probably 18 there. The brute. And my cats, probably 4 years ago now, put down Miss Buzzy. She was 22, 23. Lucas, we had to put down 3 Christmases ago now. Wow, time flies. He was 16. And Lacey, 17. She was the baby. Dak, actually, good call if they can win 10 games. That's kind of where I am, Danny. They got to get to 10 games, get in the playoffs, and Dak would be a good call because Dak's numbers are going to be huge. Because even if the defense gets to mediocre, Flo, right? I mean, they're going to have to score lots of points to win games, and Dak is going to be a big part of that. Listen, I haven't necessarily been hard on Dak. I haven't necessarily been easy on him. I've been more on, he's a great quarterback. He's a great regular season quarterback. He's another guy without a ton of success in the postseason. Not always because of him, though. My big thing with Dak was that game where, they were driving and he didn't get the ball to the official and they lost time and didn't get a chance to run another play. As a quarterback, you have to be more aware of the game situation than that. Now, in fairness, that was like 5 years ago, right? So, but Dak's a really, really good quarterback, and I think he gets a bad rap. Not so sure about that. I think he's better than Romo. I guess I don't have much of an argument to say that other than just preference. I think my Tony Romo opinions have now been tainted by having to listen to him just talk to hear himself talk on doing games. It's funny. I got into a conversation with Tip one night, and I know he was busting my chops. I hope, but he, we were talking about Romo was better than Staubach. Dak was better than Staubach. Please stop. And Tip, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure I know you were just busting my chops and trying to get me going. Good stuff, though. So anyway, it's a big football weekend. By the way, Deion's going to be out in Colorado, and Stefanski's going to be out in Cleveland. The owner loves Shedeur. The coaching staff doesn't. My guess is Deion's going to leave Colorado for health reasons, but it'll be interesting to see if maybe Deion wants to come to Cleveland in that mess. Good defense. I'll tell you, watching them up close against the Patriots, I know the score didn't look like it, but they played very good defense that day, especially the front four. It's really good, but they just got to figure that offense out. Patriots, I think, interesting matchup with the Falcons today. The Falcons getting healthy. This is I don't like to call them trap games necessarily, but this is a game for the Patriots to be wary of. I did have this as a win. Remember, I had the Patriots winning 9 games, best case scenario. They've already lost 2 of the 9 wins that I had, and they're on a pace for like 12 wins, 12 or 13 wins. Their schedule is very favorable from here on out, except for Buffalo. They got to go to Tampa next week. So it's going to be very interesting. I wish we were on our cruise just a week earlier. We would have been about an hour from Tampa, and I might have gone to the game. We'll be staying at my brother and sister-in-law's for a couple of days when we get back from a 2-week cruise. Might have stayed an extra day and gone to the Patriot Tampa game. What else you guys got for me? Again, World Series wrap-up. Great World Series. Tremendous World Series. Baseball wins. Somebody said it early in the show. I think it was JB. You had a little bit of everything. You had home runs, but you also had pitching and defense winning games. You saw pitchers pitching deep into games, pitching complete games. You saw pitchers coming back on 1 day's rest. Some old school baseball. You saw guys you didn't expect hitting home runs to tie and win the series, and Rojas and Smith. You had Rojas making a tremendous defensive play. Oh, I didn't even mention the play that who was playing center field? Was it Padges? In the bottom of the ninth? Or was it bottom of the ninth or bottom? Yeah, bottom of the ninth. After they tied the game and the Blue Jays are threatening, what a great play, because Kiki had no clue. Kiki wasn't catching that ball. And the center fielder, maybe it was Edmund. It might have been Edmund. Tremendous play. Good defense. Rojas's play after bobbling the ball and staying flat-footed throwing the ball home. Exciting World Series. I'm still coming down myself. I don't even have a rooting interest other than Don Mattingly maybe getting a ring. Where am I here? Ken and me, good job. You go get them. I love your guys' show. I got to tune in more. I promise I'll try to get in more and comment a bit. I promise. One of the best World Series ever. Next year, Yanks turn to win, hopefully. Looking forward to a great Sunday of NFL. Enjoy it, everyone. Absolutely. We're going to get off of here in a few minutes. Keith, you keep mentioning the 2 wins you thought would be losses, although you haven't mentioned the 1 win. I did count that as a loss. I actually counted both those as losses. So now I may count those both as wins because we get Buffalo at home. I think that Buffalo Patriot game in week, I want to say it's week 14-ish, 15-ish, that could decide the division. I can see 11-12 now. It's funny. I talked to Jack about this the other day. That's how perspective changes, right? He said, well, if the Patriots win 9 or 10 games and go to the playoffs and lose, think it was a good year. That all depends. When the year started, I would have been happy with that. This team gets to 12 wins. Now, all of a sudden, I'm not happy with a playoff loss. Perspective changes as the season moves forward, right? Hello, Dave Guyette. How are you? We're going to be leaving quickly, though. Get a good morning from Danny Fuller out in L.A. Congratulations again, L.A. fans. Great World Series. A lot of fun. Some interesting plays. Again, not perfectly played. This series showed that you can have entertaining baseball without being perfect. I don't need 10-1 games. We had 1 blowout, right? 9-inning, 6th inning in game 1 for the Blue Jays. But Yamamoto comes back with a shutout. I'm sorry, complete game 1 runner. All you need to do, and we saw some old school stuff that I get excited by. And I'm so excited that we got to see that. And everybody, listen, I'm suffering from a lack of sleep this week, but I'm really excited by that. Congratulations to Bill Belichick on his first ACC win as well, by the way. I'm just looking at some quick notes I wrote down earlier. If we need to fill some time, which I really need to do. Bo Bichette with a great World Series, too, and maybe his swan song, maybe we'll see him in pinstripes next year. Perspective indeed changes. A comb is valuable only to those with hair. I don't see any reason that we have to have these hair conversations week after week after week. Kidding. Funny is always funny, I can say. Heck, just game 7 had everything for D. 100%. I mean, game 7 had enough. Game 7 was enough to carry that whole series. Game 3 was enough to carry that whole series, right? To me, this was the best series I've seen since 1975. Red Sox and Reds. Personal note. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for getting my day started. Mr. Baseball manage again? Donnie Baseball, I'm not sure Donnie's going to manage again. I'm really not. And I think he was successful to a certain point. And I think Donnie's probably happy with his lot in life at the moment. Maybe if he got offered the right job. I don't think he's going to come back home to manage. I think it would be too hard. I don't think he wants that scrutiny. Baseball, please don't ruin this opportunity for this. Thank you. Get a collective deal done. What we don't need now, that's a great point, Michael, and make sure we talk about in the MLB update next week. We can't afford a work stoppage now. Take care, Matt. Have a good day. Good luck to your Chargers today. Good luck to everybody, and have a great, great Sunday, guys. It's been fun as always. Bye. Go Pats.